What's up, my people? It's Cat Sports again. Now, this is a sports channel, so let's talk some sports. Now, as usual, before I get started, let me give a shout out to the JBT community. Just boxing talk. We're just a group of people that love to talk boxing. And we're always looking for others to join us. You don't have to have a podcast, channel, anything like that. The only requirement is you just have the love to talk boxing. BN Boxing News. Good afternoon, sir. How are you today? Coach Thomas Morris. What's up, Tampa Tommy? How are you this afternoon, bro? Just another afternoon of boxing talk. Wednesday afternoon. The old hump day. Getting ready to head down the home stretch of the week. Thursday, Friday. Do you know what Saturday is? The day of reckoning. Tim Layton in the building. Tim Layton, pound JBT in the building. What's up, Tim? How you doing this afternoon? I was just saying, we counting down to the day of reckoning Saturday. Over there in Saudi Arabia. Can't wait to see what those Saudis got planned for us. Because, you know, it's not just boxing. They put on a show, you know. Yeah. Might have something big for us for the weigh-in tomorrow. You never know. But that's this weekend. I'm going to look at all the fights Friday. Just a brief look at the fighters and their styles and what might happen, that's all. Because it's boxing, we know anything can happen. But I'm going to look at what we might, and we'll talk over what we think might happen. You know. And today, what are we going to do today in here? On the Cat Sports train. Okay, we're going to take a look at weight classes, you know, little history, you know, catch weights, the weight limits, you know, all that type of stuff today. And the profile for the day today will be the Raging Bull, Jake LaMotta. They used to call him the Bronx Bull too. Yeah. But how is everybody today? I was in here early. Well, not early, but earlier than I normally am. So I pat myself on the back. Yeah. My wife out there Christmas shopping. I'm just coming in. She asked me, do I want to go Christmas shopping? What? Then she said, oh, we'll be back by 2. Look at it. It's 2:15. She still ain't back. Now, suppose I would have went. See? Oh, we'll be back by 2. I would have probably been out there in the mall somewhere doing my show on the phone. That's why I said no. I'm staying home. She left here about 1:15. Now, what woman is going to go to the mall and come back in 45 minutes? I know my wife not. That's why I'm here in my office doing my show with my people. Just boxing talk. The JBT community. Yup. Tim Layton in here. Thomas Morris. BN Boxing News. And if you're looking for any warriors out there listening, looking for a personal trainer, that's your man right there, Thomas Morris. Okay. Train people like Ronnie Lott. Okay. So I don't have to say no more about this man's skills. He trained Ronnie Lott, man. Come on now. Got to know what he's doing. If I was getting a personal trainer, I would get Coach Thomas Boyce. No doubt. And he's part of the JBT. You don't know what you might find in the JBT, man. We got personal trainers. We got a guy with his own clothing line, Remo. He'll probably be in here later. What's up, Mike Ryan? So the JBT is big. There's Remo right there. I spoke him up. I was just mentioned your name, Remo, before you popped in here. I got ESP. Well, I got ESPN. What's up, Remo and Mike Ryan? How y'all fellas doing today? I was just saying, you don't know what you might find in the JBT, okay? We got all these great boxing channels. We got Coach Thomas Morris, a personal trainer. We got Remo, got his own clothing line. And then we got this guy just came in here, Thomas Hill. Thomas Hill. If I had one of his hands, I'd throw both mine in. I just tell the doctor, sew that one on. Say, well, that's Thomas Hill hand. Sew it on. What's up, T Hill? How you doing this afternoon, bro? Just boxing talk. I was telling the fellows we're going to talk about weight classes today, and the profile will be on Jake LaMotta, the Raging Bull, or he was also the Bronx Bull. D for the win has entered the building. What's up, D for the win? Okay, I see the JBT is coming on in here. I'm getting ready to get started in a minute. That's right, T Hill. What's up, D for the win? How you doing this afternoon, bro? I don't know. Man, I'm gonna close this other door because they're doing some work across the yard there. Excuse me for 1 minute. Oh, shoot. Yeah, they was digging up something over there, and this big machine making all this noise. But here we go. Yeah. Pound JBT. Check out the tank effect. Okay, cool. Thomas Hill says, D for the Mickey Fricky win. What's the deal? Yeah, fam. Yeah. Yeah. Thomas Hill and Dead Hardcore got their own language, man. You know. Excuse me for 1 moment, please. Sorry. Okay. Now we're going to talk about these weight classes a little today. History of the weight classes, catch weights, weight limits, all that kind of stuff. And meanwhile, in the chat, you know, y'all can talk about whatever y'all want to talk about. It's just boxing talk. Really, sports talk. We talk all sports here. Here's Mike Mason. What's up, Mike? Salute, bro. How are you this afternoon? All good? Got this day of reckoning coming up in a couple days. The weigh-in tomorrow. You don't know what them Saudis got planned. Might have something big for a big show or something for the weigh-in. You know, can never tell with them, but we'll see. No, I guess the final press conference is tomorrow. Excuse me, that's right. I'm a little bit of a hit of myself. The weigh-in is Friday. Final press conference tomorrow. Okay. You at work, Mike? Okay. Don't work too hard. You know. Just tell your boss Cash Sports is on, and so we can't do too much work for the next couple of hours. Okay, weight classes for boxing. In boxing, a weight class is a measurement weight range for boxers. All right, the lower limit of a weight class is equal to the upper weight limit of the class below it. Right? Okay. The top class with no upper limit is called heavyweight, right? In professional boxing. And it's called super heavyweight in amateur boxing. Now, boxing match is usually scheduled for a fixed weight class, and each boxer's weight must not exceed the upper limit of that weight class, okay? Now, although professional boxers may fight above their weight class, an amateur boxer's weight must not fall below the lower limit. I didn't understand that. I was reading that this morning. Although a professional boxers may fight above their weight class, right? An amateur boxer's weight must not fall. Amateur boxers may not fall below the lower limit. Now, a non-standard weight limit is called a catch weight. Okay. A catch weight. A boxer who is over the weight limit may strip naked to make the weight if the excess is minimal. Otherwise, in a professional bout, one can try again later, typically after losing weight in the interim through dehydration by vigorous exercise in a steam room. Now, if the excess weight is too great, the effort expended trying to make weight will make the boxer unfit for the fight itself. In such cases, the fight may be canceled. An overweight boxer may be sanctioned, or it might proceed to a catch weight, okay, or a non-title fight. Now, listen to this now. A lot of people don't know this. The IBF has a unique weigh-in policy in title fights. In addition to making the weight at the official weigh-in on the day before the fight, the boxers are required to submit to a weight check on the morning of the fight, okay? Now, during the weigh-in on the morning of the fight, the fighter must not weigh in no more than 10 pounds above the weight limit, whatever weight class they're in. And see, people make all this noise about catch weights, but IBF title fights always have it. It's not even a catch weight. It's just a requirement they have. You cannot be 10 pounds over the weight class. Any IBF championship fight. So for all these people that make all these noises about, he put a rehydration clause on them, the IBF always has that, man. So rehydration clauses and all that is not uncommon. Okay. Who's IBF? Like Earl Spence. When he had all those years he had that IBF, he always had the rehydration clause. Well, it's not even a rehydration clause. It's just a requirement that the IBF has. I think they all should pick it up. What's up, Just Do Boxing? You know, that would prevent that coming in, fighting at 140, but then the day of the fight, you win 165. Come on, man. Yeah, I like that policy the IBF has. In their title fights, you cannot be no more than 10 pounds over your weight class. You fight that 140, you got to be under 150. You fight that 147, you got to be under 147 and so on, you know, which is good. I mean, what's the reason if you're going to have weight classes? A guy can weigh in at 135, then come in at 160. You know, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. So that's a good policy the IBF had. I don't know why the rest of them don't pick it up. Mauricio's so busy denying the women from the 12-round, 3-minute fights that the obvious shit he missing. You know, stuff like that. Right? You know, it's ridiculous. Okay. So in the IBF, they have another way in the morning of the fight. Every IBF title fight, not just rehydration clause fights, all of them. And you can't be 10 pounds. You got to be within 10 pounds of the weight class limit. Okay. Now, where was it before I went off on that rant? Okay. Now, if a fighter skips that morning weigh-in on the day of the fight or fails to make the weight at that time, the fight can still proceed, but the title will not be on the line. Okay? The title will not be on the line. If you miss that weigh in the morning of the fight, or you over the 10-pound limit, then the title is not on the line. Okay? Now, what are we talking about? In heavyweight title fights, the second weigh-in is still mandatory, but since there's no weight limit in that class, the boxer cannot be sanctioned for failing to submit to the weigh-in. I don't understand that. Why would they have a weigh-in the morning of the fight at a heavyweight? There is no weight limit. So what weight would you have to be within 10 pounds of? I don't even get that at all. The IBF still have those weigh-ins the morning of the fight at heavyweight, but why? There's no weight limit. That's crazy. Okay. Now, an amateur boxer must make the weight at the initial weigh-in. There's no opportunity to try again later. Okay. You hear that? So in amateur boxing, you don't get to go and come back later if you don't make the weight. You must make it the first time. Yep. You must make it the first time. I did not know that. You're an amateur boxer. What's up, Just Do Boxing? How are you today, bro? Talking a little bit about weight classes, you know. There's always people complaining about catch weights and all this kind of nonsense, rehydration clauses. But the IBF title fights, you can never be over 10 pounds over the limit. I think everybody should pick that up. Okay? So rehydration clauses are not an uncommon thing. Okay, now amateur boxers only get one chance to make the weight. They don't get to miss the weight, then come back a couple hours later and try again. No, you got to do it right there the first time. Okay? Now, amateur boxers who don't make that weight the first time, they don't have no catch weights or nothing. They just don't have to fight. They're eliminated from the fight. That's it. That's all. Okay? Now, before an amateur tournament, there's a general weigh-in before the start of the tournament. And then there's a daily weigh-in on the morning of each of a fighter's bouts, okay? Now, at the general weigh-in, the fighter must be between the weight classes' upper and lower limits, right? Now, at the daily weigh-in, only the upper limit is enforced, okay? You can be below the lower limit. Now, at the general weigh-in, before the tournament, you have to be in between the lower weight and the upper weight. But then the day of the weigh-in, you just have to be below the upper weight. You can be below the lower weight too, as long as you don't exceed the weight limit of the class you're fighting in. Okay. Now, if you're over the weight and you don't get to fight in that weight class, you may be allowed to move up and fight in the next weight class up if there's space in the tournament. So, if you're just not kicked out of it, right? If there's space in the tournament and you don't make your weight in the amateurs, because you only get one chance. You might, if there's somebody to fight, space in the tournament, you can move up to the next class, okay? So they do that for you. Now, in major events such as the Olympics, there's a limit of 1 boxer per country in each weight class. All right. Okay. Now, a boxer may fight different fights at different weight classes. The trend for professionals is to move up to a higher class as you age, with muscle mass and bone density increasing over time. Devin Haney. Okay. Winning titles at multiple weight classes to become a multiple champion is considered a major achievement. Yes, it is. Now, in amateur boxing, fights are much shorter and much more frequent, and boxers fight at their natural weight in the amateurs because you're fighting so much more often, You don't have time to put 20 pounds on between fights. You know what I mean? And the amateurs, like the pros take all those months. The amateurs don't do that. You fight so frequently, you're closer to your weight class whenever you fight. Yeah, which is good. Now, one boxer is said to be better pound for pound than another if he is considered superior with due regard for their differences in weight. Theoretical comparisons of the merits of boxers in different weight classes are a popular topic for boxing fans, with a similar speculated appeal to comparing sports figures from different eras. In both cases, the competitors would never face each other in reality. True. I don't know, though. Well, no, not really. But look at Mel. Mel just went up 2 weight classes at Fort Canelo. I mean, that kind of stuff didn't. I mean, in the old days, you gradually did it. Like Mel went from 54 to 68. In the old days, you would be at 54, then you might fight at 60. Then you go to 68. You don't just jump like that. That didn't happen too often. But that was like a money grab anyway, so. Okay. Let me see what my likes look like. Looking good. Somebody just hit it. Thank you. All right. In the early 19th century, this is a little history of weight classes here. Okay, that was just general information. Let's look at a little history of the weight classes. In the early 19th century, there were no standard weight classes. Now, in 1823, the Dictionary of the Vulgar Tongue said the Dictionary of the Vulgar Tongue said the limit. Wait a minute, let me get my glasses. Okay. Said the limit for a lightweight was 12 stone, or 168 pounds. Wow. While sportsman's slang the same year gave 11 stone, 154 pounds. Ooh, it was very different then. They called the lightweight 168 back then. Another one called the 154. So, I don't know who this is. Spam. Okay, excuse me. Spam. Don't you hate spam? Okay. Size mismatches were dangerous for the smaller boxer and unsatisfying for the spectators. National and world titles could only become recognized if standard weight classes were agreed upon. Okay. See, they had to just come when they was making the fight, just come up with a weight class back then. And they saying that, because size mismatches were dangerous for the smaller boxers and people unsatisfying for the spectators. Okay. National and world titles could only become recognized if standard weight classes were agreed upon. Important sets of weight classes were those specified in 1909 by the National Sporting Club of London, and those contained in the 1920 Walker Law, which established the New York State Athletic Commission. After the split in the 1960s between the WBC, after the split in the 1960s between the WBC and the WBA, the divisions were narrowed, creating more champions simultaneously and making it easier for fighters to move between different weight divisions. Among the professional bodies, the names of the new divisions are not standardized between different sanctioning bodies, although the cutoff weights are. Those weights are specified in pounds, reflecting the historic dominance of Britain and later the United States in the sport. Now, the glamour divisions. Boxing has its own original 8 weight divisions, also known as the traditional classic or glamour divisions. These divisions are the most prominent and widely recognized weight classes in boxing. I think those are the ones that don't have like the junior or super, Manny Pacquiao has won world championships in the greatest number of the glamour divisions, winning championships in the flyweight, featherweight, lightweight, and welterweight divisions. Yeah, the glamour divisions were called the ones, those were the original divisions. They didn't have the junior welterweight or the super welterweight, just flat out, flyweight, lightweight, flyweight, bantamweight, featherweight, lightweight, welterweight, middleweight, light, and heavyweight, straight on up, right? Okay. Excuse me for a second. Hello. Hey, I'm on the live. Okay. Bye. Dang it. Excuse me. My wife calling me to come to her car and get some bags. The bag's gonna have to stay in there till 4. I'm sorry. She got my daughter and her boyfriend with her. What's wrong with them? Tweener divisions. Excuse me. Tweener divisions. The newcomer weight divisions or tweener divisions mostly recognized with either a super, light, or junior. See, that's what I was talking about. In front of their names. Took many years to be fully recognized as legitimate weight divisions in boxing. Manny Pacquiao again. Manny Pacquiao has won world championships in 4 of these divisions: super bantamweight, super featherweight, junior welterweight, and junior middleweight. Yeah, Manny went all the way up to 154. So what is he? 8 division world titles? Yeah. What's up, Aunt McQueen? Aunt McQueen in the building. What you laughing at? My wife telling me come to the car. Ain't that crazy? That'll take a little while, man. I can't do it right now. I'm sorry. It's Christmas stuff. I can get it at 4 o'clock. Hold on, excuse me 1 minute. I can't open the door though. I'm back. Sorry. Hope I'm not in trouble. Okay. Catch weights. Catch weights. You making it okay? Yeah. Okay. Catch weights. Oh, Danae still with you? Okay, catch weights. A non-standard weight limit is called a catch weight. A catch weight may be agreed to for an individual belt, sometimes even for a championship belt. But championships are awarded only at the standard weight classes. I tried, Aunt. Yeah, man. And he's one of them big guys. He probably could bring every bag in here by himself. Okay, it says the catch weight may be agreed to for an individual belt, sometimes even for a championship belt, but championships are awarded only at the standard weight classes. That doesn't make too much sense. For example, standard weight classes. For example, when Manny Pacquiao fought Antonio Margarito at a catch weight of 150 pounds, the World Boxing Council sanctioned this as a title fight for junior middleweight, whose limit is 154. Okay. So I guess that the sanctioning body agreed to it. I think Floyd and Oscar, was that at the catch weight? I mean, yeah, 154. Floyd and Canelo, I don't think it was a title on the line though. I'm not sure. Okay. All right. That's a little bit about weight classes. Let's hold on for one moment. Okay. And I'm just gonna tell you the limits of the classes. Heavyweight is unlimited. There's 17 different weight classes. Heavyweight is unlimited. Cruiserweight is 200. Light heavyweight is 175. Super middleweight is 168. Laptop getting ready to die. Okay. Super middleweight is 168. Middleweight is 160. Junior middleweight is 154. Welterweight is 147. Junior welterweight is 140. Lightweight is 135. Junior lightweight is 130. Featherweight is 126. Junior featherweight is 122. Bantamweight is 118. Junior bantamweight is 115. Flyweight is 112. Now that's just 10 pounds separating three weight classes. Wow. Junior flyweight is 108, and then strawweight 105. Ooh. Lonnie Lee. What's happening, Lonnie Lee? How are you today? And the profile for today is going to be Jake LaMotta. How you doing, Lonnie Lee? How was work today? You off? You at work listening? Or you driving home? We've just got finished talking about weight classes. Now we're going to talk about Jake LaMotta, the Raging Bull, or the Bronx Bull. Okay. Excuse me.
You want to see? I know you like the shoes, but I thought you want to see you. You see, it was. I'm talking about yours. Okay, I'll be back.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Okay, now the interruptions are over. We're going to get into Jake LaMotta, the Raging Bull. Okay. Oh yeah, the traffic light, Lonnie. Yeah. I know about that texting at the light. hmm Remember, I was telling you about that yesterday. hmm That's what red lights are for. You text when you're on social media, right? Right. Thank you. Okay. Let me get the Raging Bull up. How is everybody this afternoon? Hump day. All downhill from here. Everybody ready for the day of reckoning this weekend? Oh yeah, and I've read your comment after I got off yesterday about you said if Wilder and Joshua both lose, run it anyway. I agree. Run it anyway. They should have had that fight years ago. Yeah. Oh yeah, and you were saying about the other comment. Oh, this is what I was talking about. The Saudis said they maybe could make Revolve and Better Be. That's good news. Yeah, I saw those comments after I got off yesterday. That's very good news. They can make that fight. That's the one. That's one of the fights we want. That was my main one the other day when we were talking about the fights we would make, um, other than Tank and Devin. Better Be and Bivol was my first choice. So yeah, and that's good news. Salute to the Saudis. You know, if they can get that done. Yeah. The Saudis got it going on, man. If they can get Better Be even Bivol in there, they got to get around Mauricio though. Remember? Mauricio jumped in there talking about he ain't trying to make that fight. Bivol is rushing or something. But yeah, all that money the Saudis got. Mauricio, he'll do it. Money talks. Mm. Oh yeah, these are nice. My wife bought me some shoes. Oh my goodness. Okay, Jake LaMotta, the Raging Bull, also known as the Bronx Bull. Giacobbe, I guess I said that right. That's his real first name. Giacobbe. Jake LaMotta. Yeah, I would have found another name too if that was my first name. July 10th, 1922, September 19th, 2017. Now that's amazing. That style Jake LaMotta fought, he took a lot of punishment, man. He lived 95 years. Isn't that something? Mm, mm, mm. Jake LaMotta was an American professional boxer who was world middleweight champion between 1949 and 1951. Originally, he was nicknamed the Bronx Bull and then the Raging Bull for his technique of constant stalking, brawling, and inside fighting. He developed a reputation for being a bully. He was what is often referred to today as a swarmer and a slugger. Yeah, remember I did the different styles a few weeks ago? Yep. Jake would definitely be a swarmer, brawler, slugger. Yep. Due to his hard style of fighting, LaMotta often took as much as he dished out in an era of great middleweights. Yep. With a thick skull and jaw muscles, LaMotta was able to absorb incredible amounts of punishment over the course of his career, and is thought to have one of the greatest chins in boxing history. Yep, I heard that before. Jake LaMotta might have the best chin in boxing history. Him and Canelo. I think Jake might have had a better chin than Canelo, though. Yeah. And he lived 95 years, man. All that punishment and that boxing style. But yeah, Jake had one of the best chins in the sport, in boxing history. Jake's 6-fight rivalry with Sugar Ray Robinson was one of the most notable in boxing history. Although each fight was close and LaMotta dropped Robinson to the canvas multiple times, Jake won only one of the fights, 6 of them. LaMotta, who lived a turbulent life in and out of the ring, was managed by his brother Joey. He was ranked 52nd on Ring Magazine's list of the 80 best fighters of the last 80 years, and also ranked amongst the list of the 10 greatest middleweights of all time. Yeah, I agree. LaMotta was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in the inaugural class of 1990. Okay, I didn't know that. Remember the other day when I went into a rant when I said, how come Jersey Joe Walcott wasn't inducted into the Hall of Fame until 1990? It didn't start until 1990. Why didn't somebody tell me that? I did not know that. Because I went into a rant. I was like, Jersey Joe Walcott retired in the 50s. He didn't get in the Hall of Fame until 1990. Now, it just said they just formed it in 1990. I did not know that. And why didn't you tell me? I know you knew it. Like they do to lifestyle, yeah. That's true, Aunt. Yeah, I did not know the International Boxing Hall of Fame didn't begin until 1990. Wow. So yeah, I'm learning from these. And I read this earlier. I didn't even see that. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, they say the more times you look at a movie or read something, you learn more and more. And that's so true. I don't know how I missed that. Okay. I Served 88 is in the building. What's up, I Served? Gregory Pratt. All these Baltimoreans coming in here at the same time. What's up, GP? How you doing today, bro? I knew you was going to show up sooner or later. We're talking about Jake LaMotta today. And you missed we had a little talk about weight classes a little while ago. But how you doing, bro? Good to see you. Good to see you. I need to get my grandson over there to your barbershop because he need a haircut bad. We're going to make it over there one of these days. Soon. I promise. I promise. Ed says the food didn't have all those preservatives. That's true. That's a good point, Ed. They sure didn't. They sure didn't. Yeah. He lived 95 years. Yeah. Okay. Let's continue. Man, I got almost 20 likes already. That's my average, 20, 25, which is good. Okay. Where was I? Okay. Yeah. He got into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in the inaugural class 1990. That's why so many of those old school boxers from the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s didn't get in there until 1990 because they just started. I did not know that. LaMotta's autobiography was adapted into the 1980 Martin Scorsese film Raging Bull. He went on to be nominated for 8 Academy Awards, with Robert De Niro winning Best Actor for his portrayal of LaMotta. Yep, I remember that. Robert De Niro played Jake, and he got Best Actor that year. Early 80s. Yep. Okay. Let's take a look at Jake's early life. Jake LaMotta was born on the Lower East Side of New York City on July 10th, 1922, to Italian parents, Elizabeth and Joseph LaMotta. Many sources had reported his year of birth was 1921, but his daughter Christy claimed it was in fact 1922. His mother was born in the United States to Italian immigrants, while his father was an immigrant from Messina, Sicily, who came with family including his brother Joseph. The family lived briefly in Philadelphia before returning to New York and settling in the Bronx. Jake's father forced the boy to fight other boys in order to entertain neighborhood adults. Isn't that something? Make your son go out there and fight to entertain your friends. Come on, man, that's crazy. Wow. Jake's father forced the boy to fight other boys in order to entertain neighborhood adults. Man, they all should have been locked up. That's crazy. And the adults threw pocket change into the ring. Well, at least they got paid for it. LaMotta's father collected the money and used it to help pay the rent. We should have gave that to Jake. He the one in there fighting. Come on, man. One of LaMotta's cousins on his father's side was Richard LaMotta, who became an entrepreneur and creator of the Chipwich ice cream treat. Never heard of it. That must have been something from way back then. I never heard of that. Anybody heard of the Chipwich ice cream treat? That was created by somebody in Jake LaMotta's family, his uncle, his cousin. LaMotta learned to box while in a reformatory in upstate New York. Oh, I thought he learned when he was out there, his father making him fight the neighborhood kids. LaMotta learned how to box while in a reformatory in upstate New York, where he'd been sent for attempted robbery. Afterward, he fought undefeated in amateur bouts. Wow, went undefeated? Turning professional at age 19 in 1941. During World War II, he was rejected for military service due to a childhood mastoid operation on one of his ears, which affected his hearing. Okay. And he wasn't mad. He got to stay out of World War II. Okay. All right. Take a little look at his boxing career. That's kind of long. I'm not going to look at the whole thing. Just pick out bits and pieces of it. I read it earlier, but it's kind of long. Okay, boxing career. We're gonna look at the Sugar Ray Robinson fights. But as a middleweight in his first 15 bouts, LaMotta went 14-0-1, 3 knockouts, before losing a highly controversial split decision to Jimmy Reeves in Reeves' hometown of Cleveland, Ohio. Yeah. Now those guys back then was fighting 11, 12. I know Joe Frazier fought 11 times in his first year, and yesterday, who did I do yesterday? I forgot. Whoever it was. Oh, Joe Lewis, he fought 15 times in his first year. So yeah, they did some fighting back then, man. At least every month, sometimes twice a month. But he lost a controversial split decision to Jimmy Reeves, and he was in Reeves' hometown, okay? That was his 15th fight. 16th fight. He had 14 wins and 1 draw at that time, okay? Chaos erupted after the decision was announced. Fights broke out around the ring, and the crowd continued to boo for 30 minutes. The arena's organist tried, but failed to calm down the crowd by playing the Star Spangled Banner. 1 month later, LaMotta fought Reeves again in the same arena. LaMotta lost a much less controversial decision. Okay, he lost the next time, but it was Reeves beat him more clear cut the second time. Okay, now they fought a third time. Wow. March 19th, 1943 in Detroit. Okay, it wasn't in Reeves' hometown, the third fight. The first 5 rounds were close, though Reeves was struggling in the 4th. In the 6th round, LaMotta floored Reeves, who was only down for a second. Once the fight resumed, LaMotta landed a left on Reeves' chin, sending him down face first. Reeves was blinking his eyes and shaking his head as the referee counted him out. All right. Okay. Here's a look at LaMotta versus Sugar Ray Robinson. 1-5. I think they fought 6 times. This is the first 5. LaMotta fought Sugar Ray Robinson in Robinson's middleweight debut at Madison Square Garden, New York City, October 2nd, 1942. LaMotta knocked Robinson down in the first round of the fight. Robinson got up and took control over much of the fight, winning via unanimous 10-round decision. Okay, that was the first fight. Rematch took place February 5th, 1943 in Detroit. The 8th round was historic. LaMotta landed a right to Robinson's head and a left to his body, sending him through the ropes. Robinson was saved by the bell at the count of 9. So he had Sugar Ray knocked out in that second fight, but the bell saved it. Wow. Never knew that. LaMotta, who was already leading on the scorecards before knocking Robinson out of the ring, pummeled and outpointed him for the rest of the fight. Robinson had trouble keeping LaMotta at bay. LaMotta won via unanimous decision, giving Robinson the first defeat of his career. So Jake won the second fight, and that was the first loss of Sugar Ray's career. So now it's 1-1. Okay? But the victory was short-lived as the two met on February 26, 1943. Now listen to this. That was like 3 weeks. Okay, they fought on February 5th, 1943, the second fight. The third fight was February 26, 1943. Okay? 3 weeks later. Okay? Now that's a rematch, ain't it? 3 weeks later, they had the rematch for the third fight. Now, they say the victory was short-lived. I thought they were going to say like 2 or 3 months later. No, 3 weeks later, they fought again. Okay? February 26, 1943 was another 10-rounder. And again, it was in Detroit that Robinson was raised at. Okay. Robinson took a 9-count in round 7. Okay. He later stated, "He really hurt me with the left in the 7th round. I was a little dazed and decided to stay on the deck." Robinson won the close fight by unanimous decision using a dazzling left jab and jarring uppercuts. LaMotta said the fight was given to Robinson because he would be inducted into the Army the next day. Wow. Okay, now the fourth fight was 2 years later. Another 10-rounder. February 23rd, 1945 at Madison Square Garden. Sugar Ray won again by unanimous decision. So what's that? 3-1 Sugar Ray. Okay. The fifth fight was that same year. Not 3 weeks this time, though. The fifth fight was in September 26, 1945, Comiskey Park in Chicago. All right. Old home of the Cubs. Was it the Cubs or the White Sox? Who played at Comiskey? I think it was the White Sox, wasn't it? I'm not sure. One of them. Okay. But anyway, this was the fifth fight between Jake LaMotta and Sugar Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray Robinson is leading 3-1 at the time. Okay. Robinson won a very controversial split decision over 12 rounds. The decision was severely booed by the 14,700 people in attendance. LaMotta later said in his autobiography that the decision was widely criticized by several newspapers and boxing publishers. Robinson said afterward, "This was the toughest fight I've ever had with LaMotta." Okay. So now it's 4-1 for Sugar Ray. Okay. Now, he won the championship against Marcel Cerdan. LaMotta won the world middleweight title on June 16, 1949 in Detroit, Michigan, defeating Frenchman Marcel Cerdan. LaMotta won the first round in which he knocked Cerdan down. Cerdan the second, and the third was even. At that point, it became clear something was wrong. Cerdan apparently damaged in the knockdown and gave up before the start of the 10th round. LaMarta damaged his left hand in the 5th round, but still landed 104 punches in the 9th round. Ooh-wee. Whereas Sedan hardly threw a punch. The knockout in 10 rounds had LaMarta as winner by knockout. LaMarta won by 10 knockout in 10 rounds because the bell had already set rung to begin that round when Sedan announced he was quitting. A rematch was arranged, but while Sedan was flying back to the United States to fight the rematch, his Air Force Lockheed crashed in the Azores, killing everyone on board. Wow. Okay. So now Jake is the middleweight champion. He made his first title defense July 7th, 1950, at Madison Square Garden. LaMarta retained his title via unanimous decision. LaMarta's next defense came on September 13, 1950, against Laurent Dardoux. Laurent had previously beaten LaMarta by decision before LaMarta became champion. By the 15th round, Laurent was already ahead on all scorecards, 72-68, 74-66, 71-69, and seemed about to repeat a victory against LaMarta. Jake hit Laurent with a barrage of punches that sent him down against the ropes toward the end of the round. Laurent was counted out with 13 seconds left in the fight. That was Fight of the Year for 1950. Wow. Jake was behind on all 3 cards and got a knockout with 13 seconds left. Okay. Then came the 6th and final fight between Jake and Sugar Ray Robinson, which was called the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. I seen that. Well, I wasn't there. I've Googled it. I mean, I'm old, but I ain't that old. Come on now. But I'm the one that said I saw it. Not in person. The 6th and final fight between LaMarta and Robinson took place at Chicago Stadium. This fight was scheduled for 15 rounds and was for the middleweight title. Held on February 14, 1951, St. Valentine's Day. The St. Valentine's Day Massacre. That's why the fight became known as the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. In the last few rounds, LaMarta began to take a horrible beating and was soon unable to defend himself from Robinson's powerful blows. But LaMarta refused to go down. Robinson won by a technical knockout in the 13th round when the fight was stopped. Now, Jake moved to light heavyweight after losing his world middleweight title. He had poor results at first. He lost his debut against Bob Murphy, lost a split decision to Norman Hayes, and had a draw with Gene Hairston in his first 3 fights. In his next 3 fights, LaMarta had rematches with Hayes, Hairston, and Murphy, and defeated all of them by unanimous decision. See, that's what they did back then. Okay, somebody beat you, you wanted to fight them again. And the one that beat you, they wanted to fight you again to show it wasn't a fluke, okay? He lost his first 3 fights at light heavyweight. Then his next 3 fights was rematches against the same 3 guys, and he beat all 3 of them. That's how it's supposed to be, you know? Following that 3rd fight, LaMarta took time off. When he returned in early 1954, he knocked out the first 2 opponents, Johnny Pretzi in the 4th round and Al McCoy in the 1st round. But a controversial split decision loss to Billy Kilgore on April 14, 1954, convinced him to retire. All right. So Jake retired in 1954. Okay. Let's take a look at what Jake did after boxing, post-boxing. After retiring from the ring, LaMarta owned and managed a bar at 1120 Collins Avenue in Miami Beach. He also became a stage actor and comedian. In 1958, he was arrested and charged with introducing men to an underage girl at a club he owned in Miami. He was convicted and served 6 months on a chain gang, although he always maintained his innocence. In 1960, LaMotta was called to testify before a U.S. Senate subcommittee that was looking into underworld influence on boxing. They need to do that nowadays, look into these sanctioning bodies and all this cheating and nonsense going on. But they did it in 1960. He testified that he had thrown his belt with Billy Fox so that the mob would arrange a title belt for it. LaMotta appeared in more than 15 films, including The Hustler, 1961, with Paul Newman and Jackie Gleason, in which he had a role as a bartender. He appeared in several episodes of the NBC police comedy, Car 54, Where Are You? Yeah, Car 54, Where Are You? A lifelong baseball fan, he organized the Jake LaMotta All-Star team in the Bronx. The LaMotta team played in Sterling Oval, which was located between 165th and 164th Street, between Clay and Teller Avenue. In 1965, LaMotta appeared in Big Jewel in the New York City Center production of Guys and Dolls with 15 performances alongside Alan King, and Jerry Orbach. Okay. That's what he did after boxing. Now let's take a look at Jake's fighting style. LaMotta is recognized as having had one of the best chins in boxing. He rolled with punches, minimizing their force and damage when they landed, but he was also able to absorb many blows. In the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, his sixth fight with Robinson, LaMotta suffered numerous severe blows to the head. Commentators could be heard saying, "No man can take this kind of punishment," but LaMotta did. He did not go down. The fight was stopped by the referee in the 13th round, declaring it a TKO victory for Robinson. LaMotta was one of the first boxers to adopt the bully style of fighting, in that he always stayed close and punching range of his opponent by stalking him around the ring and sacrificed taking punches himself in order to land his own shots. Due to his aggressive, unrelenting style, he was known as the Bronx Bull. He boasted, "No son of a bitch ever knocked me off my feet." But that claim was ended in December 1952 at the hands of Danny Nardico, when Nardico caught him with a hard right in the 7th round. LaMotta fell into the ropes and went down. After regaining his footing, he was unable to come out for the next round. And finally, Jake's later life and death. Okay. Miss Joette, didn't see you come in. How are you? Good to see you. Miss Joette, one of the queens of the JBT, is in the building. Good to see you today, Miss Joette. He was just taking a look at the Raging Bull, Jake LaMotta, to the last segment, Later Life and Death. Good afternoon, Miss Joette. Okay. Jake LaMotta had a troubled personal life, including a spell in a reformatory, and was married 7 times. Wow, 7 times. He admitted to having raped a woman, having beaten his wives, and coming close to beating a man to death during a robbery. He did 6 months for, I don't know if it was that same robbery, but earlier in his life, he did 6 months for robbery. In February 1998, LaMotta's elder son, Jake LaMotta Jr., died of liver cancer. In September 1998, his younger son, Joseph LaMotta, died in the crash of Swiss Air Flight 111. Wow, he lost 2 children. His nephew, John LaMotta, fought in the heavyweight novice class of the 2001 Golden Gloves Championship tournament. John later became an actor, and one of his roles was as Duke, who ran the bar of that name featured in the television comedy series Frasier. Oh yeah, that was his nephew. Wow. Another nephew, William Lustig, is a well-known director and producer of horror films and the president of Blue Underground Incorporation. LaMotta had 4 daughters, including Christy by his second wife, Vicky LaMotta, and Stephanie by his fourth wife, Demetria. He married his seventh wife, his longtime fiancée, Denise Baker, on January 4th, 2013. 7 times. That's the most I ever heard anybody being married 7 times. Okay, he married his seventh wife on January 4th, 2013. LaMotta remained active on the speaking and autograph circuit and published several books about his career, his life, and his fights with Sugar Ray Robinson. LaMotta appeared in a 50-minute New York stage production, Lady and the Champ, in July 2012. The production focused on LaMotta's boxing career and was criticized by the New York Times as poorly executed and a bizarre debacle, while New York Times was hard on him. LaMotta is the subject of a documentary directed and produced by Greg Oliver. The film features an appearance by Mike Tyson, among other notable athletes, actors, and Jake's family and friends. Also in production was a sequel to Raging Bull, although MGM filed suit to halt the project, saying that LaMotta did not have the right to make a second sequel. The lawsuit was settled on July 31st, 2012, when LaMotta agreed to change the title of the film to The Bronx Bull. That's all. Change it to your other name. LaMotta. The Bronx Bull stars actor William Forsythe as LaMotta, while Paul Sorvino plays his father. It also features Joe Mantegna, Tom Sizemore, Penelope Ann Miller, Natasha Henstridge, Joey Diaz, and Ray Wise. LaMotta died on September 19, 2017, from complications of pneumonia in a nursing home in Florida at the age of 95. Okay, the Raging Bull, Jake LaMotta. All right. Okay, now, tomorrow, I am going to do, what I'm going to do tomorrow is going to be Joe Gans. Okay, now I know I did him before, right? But the last time, that was before I started doing them daily. And the first time I did Joe Gans, I also did 3 other fighters, right? And they were very brief profiles. So this one will be more in depth, okay? Plus Joe Gans is my home guy. We both Baltimoreans, so I got to do him right. Okay. Now you're probably gonna have some of the same information, but it's gonna be a lot more in depth. And I got a lot more information on Joe Gans, okay? And eventually I'll probably do another one on all those other 3 guys I did on that first day too. Now who were they? They were let's see. Sonny Liston, Jack Johnson, and Rocky Marciano. Yeah, I'm gonna do another one on them eventually. Because that was before I had started doing it every day, and that was just a real fast, brief thing. So yeah, I'm gonna do Joe Gans again tomorrow. Okay. All right, I'm gonna put the link in in case anybody want to come tap it out for this last 45 minutes or so. Yeah. Then I'm gonna look at what's going on around boxing. I saw something about Shakur saying he should be pound for pound. Ain't that funny? After his last performance. I mean, number 1 pound for pound. He's pound for pound fighter, but he's saying he should be number 1. What y'all think about that? Is Shakur Stevenson the number 1 pound for pound fighter? I don't think so. I don't think so. But how is everyone doing this afternoon? Hump day. It's all downhill. And like I said earlier, we got the Day of Reckoning Saturday over there in Saudi Arabia. And I heard something about Adrian Walters potentially. Yeah, me neither, and I'm not sure about that. No. Now I made a pound for pound. Listen, I had Shakur on it, but I didn't have him number 1. I think he was like 7, 6 or 7, somewhere around in there. Yeah. Well, it says heavyweight explosion in Saudi. As a boxing fan, you gotta love this card, man. Yeah. Come on. Come up. Gotta love it. Yeah. He's a great fighter, Ant. I agree 100% with that. Yeah. And this next fight, I believe he's going to come out there and give a great performance, and everybody's going to be right back on board again. Calling him that. All the people that's doubting him now, criticizing him about that last performance, he's going to straighten that out in this next fight. He's that kind of fighter. Yep. Now, as a heavyweight boxing fan, you got to love this Saturday's event in Saudi. I cannot remember a time when so many high-profile names were gathered together in one night in the heavyweight division. It's a truly great spectacle. Hats off to the Saudis. Oh, yeah. No question. Hats off to the Saudis, man. They are doing it up. And then they got the one in February, too. Tyson Fury and Usyk. I don't think they put out the undercard on that one yet, but you know it's going to be another good one. There are, however, some very technical belts that have been made here. And one absolute clanger. A lot of the belts seem to be geared toward building the vibe for future events, so you can't really moan that much about some of the matchups. No. Now they calling Philip Hergovic versus Mark DeMori a clanger. Wow. As a high-ranking heavyweight, this is an embarrassing matchup for Hergovic on an occasion such as this. And you got to question the logic behind it, as it's not a test of any description and will do nothing really for Hergovic's profile. Mark DeMori, that's who he's fighting. Says Mr. DeMori does not belong in the same ring with Hergovic. Wow. I never thought too much about that. It's so much good fights on the card, you know, I didn't even really think about any one of them being a clanger, you know. Okay, I'm gonna drop this link in. I think it's gonna be a great night of boxing. And we are in fight week. I think they're having a final press conference tomorrow. And then Friday is the weigh-in. And who knows what the Saudis got planned for the weigh-in. We just have to wait and see. Okay, here comes the link. Give me 1 second. Y'all done got me in trouble. I didn't go help my wife bring them bags in. Thank y'all. She bought me some shoes, though. Nice. Okay. Today is there's the link right there. I can't read my own handwriting. ESB. Where's Bill Knuckles today? I haven't seen Bill Knuckles. I think he was in the hangout this morning. I think. Okay, there it is. Okay, yeah. Now, okay. Bivol is looking for his shot against Better Beef. That's the top fight on my wish list for next year. It's Bivol and Better Beef. Mm-hmm. Yep. It says Bivol, Day of Reckoning. He's focused on Arthur Better Beef, hungry for belts and eyeing the future. Okay, I'm trying to get this up. Oh, here we go. Just Do Boxing, still in the building. WBA light heavyweight champ Dimitri Bivol is 100% dialed in for his title defense against Lyndon Arthur. Man, I say Arthur be there. That's Lyndon Arthur. I saw that Arthur. Almost get ready to get excited there. He's fighting Lyndon Arthur this Saturday on the Day of Reckoning. But he can't wait to capture the remaining 3 belts from the winner of the Arthur Better Beef Callum Smith fight. And that's going to be on January 13th. So that's a good sign. They're both fighting right around the same time. What, 2 or 3 weeks apart? So, yeah. Bivol is 21-0 with 11 knockouts. He's fighting Arthur is 23-1 with 16 knockouts. Wow. Now Bivol expects Arthur to play it safe and not give him any openings to land punches. London was knocked out by Anthony Yard in 2021. That's his only loss. And he's going to try to make sure that doesn't happen again against Bivol. Okay. He lost to Anthony Yard, Lyndon. Okay, so that's his only loss. He got knocked out. Now this is Bivol's first fight since Ramiro Zurdo last November. Wow. Is it? I thought Bivol had fought. No, I guess it is. So it's been a year. I could have sworn he fought earlier. All these good fights we had this year, I could have sworn Bivol was one of them, but no. He hadn't fought since Ramirez last November. Okay. So, yeah. He need to get some rounds in against this guy just in case, Better Beef is next. Yeah, Bivol. He needs to work. I mean, I thought he had fought since last November, but, he hasn't. It's been a year. Wow. I wonder why. Was he focused on trying to get that Better Beef fight that bad? Now, last year was a big one for Bivol. He beat Canelo last year and Zurdo. Now, there was talk of Canelo trying to avenge his loss to Bivol, but he decided against it, which makes sense because he was outclassed and too small. Bivol says, I feel great that I have a fight and I feel this and I smell the glory on Saturday night. I'm sure he'll be focused. He'll try to be safe and not open and use his good sides like his jab. It would be great if the Bivol-Lyndon fight steals the show from the top 2, Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. But it's unlikely. Because Arthur has been picked to serve a dual purpose for Bivol. Okay? A showcase opponent and a tune-up for Better Beef. Okay, yeah, you better watch them tune-up. Arthur likely won't take any chances of fighting aggressively because he will be leaving himself open to being countered by Bivol. Very good counterpuncher. Okay. At the same time, if Arthur doesn't take risks, he will get outboxed and take a lot of punishment, like Zerto and Canelo did. True statement. True statement. Says the Bivol is content with undercard assignment. Get some work in. Now, yeah, okay. This is something like what Ant was telling me yesterday about Better Beef and Bivol. The Saudis reportedly want the Bivol versus Better Beef for the undisputed clash. So that fight is expected to happen next if they both win. Okay. All right. Man. So I learned that if Wilder and AJ both win, they might be next. I heard a date of March 9th, I believe it was. So now I'm seeing they're saying, and the Saudis, of course, if Better Beef and Bivol both win, the Saudis talk about making that. All right. That is very good news. Very good news. And like I said yesterday, 2024 is picking right up where 2023 is leaving off at, man. We got Virgil starting the year off this time. First fight at 154. Yep. So we're in good shape. Very good shape. Going into the new year. They're finishing out the year, the monster. Because I didn't see anything for the next Saturday, the 30th, the last Saturday. Yeah, the schedule didn't have anything on it. So I guess Tuesday. Well, we got Showbox next Wednesday. You know. So that'll be the last card of the year, probably. The Monster and Marlon Tapalos on Tuesday, then Showbox on Wednesday. Then on to 2024. Uh-oh. Got some news here. Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder agreed to 2-fight deal. First clash on March 9th in Saudi. All right. All right. How come nobody didn't tell me that, man? Said right here in black and white. Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder have agreed to a 2-fight deal with the Saudis. The Saudis getting it done, man. You got to take your hats off to them. Okay. The first contest is tentatively scheduled to take place on March 9th in Saudi. Of course, as long as they both win Saturday. But I agree with Ant. If they both lose, run it anyway. You know. Yeah, Miss Joette. Yeah, that's what they're saying. They have agreed to 2 fights. The first one, March 9th. And then they don't say anything about the second one. But yeah, that's good news. I'm just happy to get the first one. Then we worry about the second one later, you know? Yeah, that is very good news. We've been waiting on this fight for years. And that was my number 1 fight for next year. Wilder and AJ. Okay, now it says it's good news and bad news. The good news. The 2 aging former heavyweight champions are expected to make boatloads of money for the 2-fight deal with the Saudis. The bad news, Joshua or Wilder's career could be effectively over depending on how the fights play out. Ideally, they would split up here and it won't be a big deal for either guy. But if one of them gets beat twice in a row, it would be bad for them, especially by knockout. But they both going to be getting paid. So, hey, we just, as fans, we just glad to be getting the fights. Yeah, I agree. Let's do it. We should have got it years ago, but at least we getting it. You know, we can't complain. Because that's what they, you know, like they all these fights always do take forever. Look at Floyd and Manny. That was like, what, 5 years too late? And then Bud and Earl, Tank and Devin, they all take a long time to make them. The women don't, though. Women getting in and get it on. Like when Savannah Marshall got injured, she was supposed to fight Shadeja Green, and she got injured. What did they do? They made Franchon and Shadeja immediately, and they fought. And now it'll probably be Franchon and Savannah again. That's what she said after the fight. So the women get it done. But we are getting it. I can't wait to see it. I got Wilder, of course. I'm a little biased, but yeah, I believe Wilder will win it. That right hand is going to catch AJ sooner or later. Now, on the flip side, the money they'll be receiving from the Saudis will help cushion the blow up getting beaten. That's what I was just saying. They was talking about how one of them would be so hurt by losing, but the money, hey, them millions will help. With the kind of green the AJ and the Bronx Bomber are expected to get for their 2-fight deal, that'll help ease the sting of getting destroyed. It might not. It might be 2 good fights, you know. Both these fights will be golden parachutes for the 2 former champions. Yup. And we might get 2 good fights. Who knows? Of course, they say it's contingent on both of them winning. Yeah, of course. Of course, Joshua faces Otto Wallen. 12 rounds. That's the headliner, by the way. Wilder faces Joseph Parker. Co-main. 2 former champions. Both 12 rounds. That is good news. We're getting Wilder and AJ. And potentially 2 of them. Potentially 2 fights. That is great news. I don't even know where I put my water at. I think I left it in the kitchen. That's okay. Yeah, but potentially 2 fights between Wilder and AJ. Need one more like for my 20 for the day. And I appreciate everybody coming in. We're going to roll on a little bit longer. Just Do Boxing coming up at 4 o'clock. J Hardcore spins the block at 8. And then the JP closes the day. Excuse me, the JBT closes the day off with the Rise podcast at 9. Okay? That is a great lineup. And they squeeze me right in the middle. But it's good. It's all good. It is all good. See what Shakur talking about. Yeah. Remember I was talking earlier about Shakur says that he should be number 1 on the pound for pound list. Says his last fight is just a speed bump on the road to superstardom. Is it? I think so. Bob Arum is optimistic that Shakur will regain the form he previously had before his recent underwhelming performance against Edwin De Los Santos on November 16th. That was underwhelming. He became a 3-time, he won, he became a 3-time world champion. Hey, you know, it's a whole lot of other fighters in there would take that, you know? Picked up his 3rd title in his 3rd division. 21-0, 10 knockouts. He picked up the vacant WBC belt against a good fighter, Edwin De Los Santos. Okay. Of course, the people booed most of the fight. But what was they expecting? A knockout? Okay, Shakur only has 10 knockouts in 21 fights. So why were they booing? I saw exactly almost what I expected to see. Tell you the truth, you know, Sakura's got an under 50% knockout rate. Okay, so if anybody was expecting a knockout, they didn't know what they was. They must have never seen Sakura fight before. So I wouldn't exactly call it underwhelming. Okay, I saw almost what I expected in that fight. Okay. That says the way that the 26-year-old Stevenson fought, retreating, holding, and making it clear that he didn't want to entertain the fans, raised doubts about whether he can ever become the superstar that Aram and the top-ranked promotional company hope he can be. Well, can't please everybody. Number one priority is winning. I mean, you want to please the fans, don't get me wrong, but hey, if I was fighting, number one for me is winning. Okay. That's important to please the fans because that affects your bags in the future. Yeah. But how would that affect your bag if you'd have went in there and lost? Hmm? Aaron blames the defensive minded Shakur's lackluster performance against De Los Santos on a shoulder and hand injury. But he didn't explain why he fought like that in the past when he faced decent quality opposition. That always happens. I have such a history of boxing, promoting superstars, and sometimes, for one reason or another, they don't live up to their billing, said Aaron. As long as Aaron is fine with Shakur never becoming a marketable fighter, he'll be a good belt holder, albeit a dull one that is avoided due to his defensive safety. Very spoiling style of fighting. Aaron has got his work cut out for him to turn Shakur into a star because he's not going to get any help from fighters like Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia, or Devin Haney, the way Oscar De La Hoya assisted Floyd Mayweather Jr. to become a superstar. Using an injury excuse would work if Shakur hadn't been fighting like this since day one, which calls into question whether Aaron is another Guillermo Rigondeaux type of fighter, but even he's entertaining. But even less entertaining than him. Nah. No, he ain't that bad. Yeah, he didn't. And he didn't let the left hand go. He was injured. Then he still won. They're saying Rigondeaux is a lot more entertaining than Shakur. Wow. Now, Aaron often complained about Rigondeaux not being an entertaining fighter. Only difference is Shakur speaks English and brags about himself nonstop. Rigondeaux wasn't a braggart like Shakur, and he fought in weight classes that didn't receive a lot of attention from boxing fans. But nah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Shakur's next performance so he can redeem himself. King Ryan Garcia signals Devin Haney to make his move. Okay. Ryan Garcia has let WBC light welterweight champion Devin Haney know that it's time to make his move. Okay. I wouldn't mind seeing that one. It says Ryan Garcia is the A side for a fight with Haney. Wow. He says Devin is just a belt holder at 140 and likely not to be that for much longer. Okay, Miss Josette. Appreciate you. Thank you for stopping by. Yeah, we winding down in like about 5 or 10 more minutes. I'm gonna get out of here. I appreciate you stopping by, Miss Josette. Miss Joette. I'll be over at Just Do It a few. Yeah. I was just talking about this last thing. I'm gonna do this Ryan Garcia Devin Haney situation. Okay, trying to put this fight together could be a nightmare, especially since Devin believes he's risen to superstar status after beating a pair of 35-year-olds in his last 2 fights. It's reasonable to assume that Devin will be intractable in talks for a fight with Ryan, believing his championship status is valuable. It doesn't. Haney is just a paper champion holding a trinket belt that won't help him get a better deal. Nah, I agree with that. Yeah. Who thinks Ryan is the A side? Anybody? I would call them co-A sides. You know? Co-A sides. It's unclear what Ryan wants in the negotiations because he's technically the challenger. Haney's dismal 50,000 pay-per-view buy numbers for his last fight against Regis equates him to be in the B side for a fight against the 25-year-old Ryan, who currently has 10.4 million followers on Instagram. There's a guy in the hangout this morning claiming Devin got 250,000. But I think if he had got that many, they would have refuted the 50,000. But I don't think they ever did. So that's what it must be. 50,000. Now, it might take a miracle to get the Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney fight made because they need to agree. And the promoters and network have to be willing to give guaranteed purses that these two would. Now, that would be on the zone, I guess. Now, it's unwilling that the two fighters will be willing to take small guarantees up front and need to gamble that they'll make their dough from the pay-per-view sales. Nah, I wouldn't take that gamble. Devin just did 50K. Ryan did over $1 million on his last pay-per-view, but he was fighting Tank. Okay. Yeah, both guys fight on the zone, right? And at the moment, yeah. Just saying. So, it says Haney can't sell. If you're Ryan, open your eyes and look at the 50,000 pay-per-view sales Devin just made with Regis as a signal for what you are dealing with. Ryan needs to know what he's getting himself into by fighting Haney because he's never proven himself capable of selling pay-per-view. For some reason, fans just don't connect with Haney the way they did with a fighter with a similar safety-first style, Floyd Mayweather Jr., because they wanted to see Floyd lose. A lot of Devin's fans say they want to see him lose, but not on the level of the people hated Floyd. Okay, Matchroom and Golden Boy have a great working relationship with the zone. Yeah, both of them do. Yeah, Aunt, that's so true. Yeah. Both of them have great relationships with the zone. Yeah. And one thing, Eddie will promote it. Eddie is a good promoter. You need to teach them other promotional companies Top Rank Eddie need to teach a class to Top Rank about promoting, because they did a very good job with Devin and Regis fight. To only get 50K, it wasn't because of Eddie, that's for sure, because he did his job promoting it. You know, yeah. If the pay-per-view sales were 50K, it was not because of Eddie Hearn. He did his job. I would say, yeah. But yeah, fans are expected to be entertained. Okay, it's important to remember they're being asked to pay $75 to watch a typical pay-per-view boxing match. They don't want to pay that kind of money to watch Haney running from Ryan for 12 rounds, which is probably what the fight will end up being. Yeah. Yep. If this fight doesn't sell, Ryan will be crying crocodile tears because he's likely to lose the fight and further erode his marketability for future fights, particularly the one he wants, a rematch with Gervonta Davis. Yeah, man, I tell you, the business side has just taken over, man. Back in the day, them guys would have just wanted to get in there and duke it out. Now they got to worry about if they lose, if the pay-per-view sales don't good, how it will affect this marketability in the future. I hate that, but that's just a fact of the game. You know, it's part of it. Yep. It's part of what we got to deal with as fans nowadays. That business side. But we don't have to like it. It says Ryan would be better off continuing to fight lesser opposition, padding his record with victories over Cans and waiting for Tank Davis to give him the lucrative rematch. It's important that Ryan not take another loss while waiting for that fight, because he'll be heading for journeyman status if he continues to get beaten. He only been beaten once. What do you mean if he continues to get beaten? They act like his man got 5 or 10 losses or something. He only got one. Oh, shit. Damn, I put the wrong link in. Oh, man. Yeah. Now we're getting ready to get out of here. I'm sorry. I always do that. Where is it? Oh, my. Yeah. Uh-oh. Yeah, I see what I did. I did it wrong. We get ready to get out. What's up, Bare Knuckles? Yeah. We have to chop it up tomorrow, and we only got like 5 minutes. I see exactly what I did now, though. Damn, my bad. There's Bare Knuckles. Boxing. Bare Knuckles and Boxing Talk in the building. Man, my big fingers typing on fast. What's up, Bare Knuckles and Boxing Talk? What's happening? How you doing? You getting close to that 50? How many more we need? Bare Knuckles. How many more subscribers we need? So you can go start going live. We need somebody at night. But it's okay. Yeah, you gotta go to those doctor's appointments. We went over some talked about weight classes and Jake LaMotta. Tomorrow we're gonna talk about Joe Gans. I know I did him before, but I didn't do him justice. It was very brief, and then I was reading over some information on him earlier, and a lot of stuff I left out. So we're going to talk about Joe Gantz again tomorrow. Oh, 14, that's all? Okay, I'm going to go to work on that today. See how many I can get. My daughter and her boyfriend was just over here. I let them get, that would have been 2, but I'll get them. We're going to get that 14 by, what's today, Wednesday? By tomorrow, by Friday, definitely. You be going live Friday night, okay, Bill Knuckles? You be going live Friday night. Watch, we're going to get that 14 between now and Friday. Oh, shoot, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Say you need 9. I got 5 as soon as I get off of here. Okay? So you need 9, Bill Knuckles. I got 5. You'll be going live by Friday night. That's gonna be our goal, okay? Get you live, get yourself set up for Friday night. All right? Matter of fact, I'm gonna announce it tomorrow. Bill Knuckles and Boxing Talk will be going live Friday night. Okay, but I'm getting ready to hit the road. Appreciate everybody once again that came in. Continue to support me. The loyal ones. Like Bill Knuckles and Boxing Talk. Miss Joette. Gregory Pratt. AKA GP. I Serve 88. Lonnie Lee. Attentive Aunt McQueen. I think we're getting a fight breakdown tonight, ain't we, Aunt? I think we're getting a Casual's Corner tonight. That's what I was hearing in the hangout this morning. Okay. I think we are getting a Casual's Corner tonight. So be on the lookout for that, everybody. What's up, Remo? Okay? Be on the lookout for a Casual's Corner tonight. Remo is in the building. And then Just Do Boxing was in the building. He's straight ahead in about 2 minutes. Mike Mazik, D for the win. Thomas Hill, appreciate you, T Hill. Mike Ryan, Tim Layton, Thomas Morris, and BN Boxing News was in the building today. All right, so that's it. Another episode of Cast Sports in the books. And as always, I appreciate everybody that continues to support my small channel. But guess what? You got to be small before you can be big. Right? Cast Sports, y'all.